There is a kind of man the world does not understand. A man who moves without permission. A man who acts without applause. A man who does the work that others avoid, not because he enjoys suffering, but because he understands a truth most people never learn. Discipline is not a feeling. Discipline is a ritual. This is the man who does it anyway. He wakes up tired, but he gets up anyway. He feels doubt in his chest, but he moves anyway. He hears the whisper of excuses, but he walks straight through them, because somewhere deep inside, he has decided that his life will be built by action, not emotion. Most people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait for clarity. They wait for confidence. They wait for a smoother path. And while they wait, their potential rots. But the man who does it anyway understands something different. The path will never be smooth. The conditions will never be perfect. The fear will never fully disappear. And greatness will never grow in the soil of hesitation. So he moves before he feels ready. He moves before he understands everything. He moves before his mind has time to negotiate with his weakness. He moves because movement is what makes a man. Every day he wakes up to the same battle. Comfort versus purpose. And he chooses purpose even when comfort is louder. Even when comfort is tempting. Even when comfort feels deserved. Because he knows the truth. Comfort is the enemy that smiles. Comfort is the trap that waits. Comfort is the slow death that takes a man's spirit long before it takes his breath. So he resists it. He starves it. He rejects it. He chooses the grind, the repetition, the boredom, the unglamorous work. He understands that discipline is built in the moments when nothing exciting is happening, when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no one even cares. Because that is where the real transformation happens, in the unseen hours. He knows that a man becomes steel only when he willingly enters the fire. You cannot sharpen yourself in comfort. You cannot grow in softness. You cannot evolve if you stay where it feels safe. Life will not hand you strength. You must take it. But to take it, you must first face yourself. Your fears, your weakness, your excuses, your softness, your laziness, your distractions, your lack of consistency. These are the enemies you must defeat every single day. And the man who does it anyway does not wait until he feels strong enough to fight them. He fights them while trembling. He fights them while unsure. He fights them while exhausted. He fights them while wounded. Because waiting for the perfect moment is the greatest lie comfort ever sold. He understands that discipline is not built in one great act, but in thousands of small ones. Waking up when you don't want to, training when your body complains, working when your mind wanders, showing up when it's easier not to. Every repetition carves a new identity. I am the kind of man who follows through. I am the kind of man who finishes what he starts. I am the kind of man who does what must be done. This identity is forged, not found, built, not discovered, created, not inherited. And here is the part most men never understand. Discipline is not something you feel. It is something you return to over and over again, whether you want to or not. Discipline is loyalty to your future self. Loyalty to the man you are trying to become. Loyalty to the life you know you should be living. The man who does it anyway knows that every choice is a vote for the strong version of himself or the weak one, a vote for his potential or his excuses, a vote for the man he could become or the man he used to be. And he votes correctly, relentlessly. When people look at him, they see toughness. But toughness is not what he was born with. Toughness is what he built. Through repetition, through hardship, through countless days where he felt he had nothing left, but chose to move anyway. He remembers the days when he failed, the days when he quit early, the days when he lived in distraction, the days when he broke promises to himself. But he uses those days as fuel, as reminders, as evidence of who he refuses to be ever again. He has learned that discipline is not the absence of weakness, it is the mastery of it. And now, the war begins. Not with the world, not with other people, but with the mind. The war with the mind. The mind is the greatest opponent a man will ever face. It knows his fears, it knows his doubts, it knows exactly where he is fragile, and it presses on those weak points with surgical precision. It whispers the perfect excuses at the perfect times. Not today, you're tired. You've earned a break. You can do it later. One time won't hurt. Start fresh tomorrow. The mind speaks in the language of comfort because it wants survival, not evolution. It wants safety, not greatness. It wants predictability, not transformation. The mind does not care about your potential. It cares about conserving energy. It cares about avoiding discomfort. It cares about returning you to whatever is familiar, even if what is familiar is destroying you. This is why most men lose. Not because they are weak, but because they never learn to separate the voice of their mind from the voice of their mission. The man who does it anyway develops a skill that almost no one else on earth masters. He learns to observe his thoughts without obeying them. He feels fear, but does not bow to it. He hears doubt, but does not slow down. He senses the urge to quit, but keeps moving. He learns that thoughts are not commands. They are simply echoes of a weaker identity trying to survive. And so he watches them. He hears them. But he does not negotiate with them. He acts in spite of them. This is the internal war that forges a different kind of man. The man who realizes that discipline is not about overpowering the mind, but training it through repetition, training it through resistance, training it through doing the hard thing again and again until the mind finally breaks or bends. And it always bends. Over time, something remarkable happens. The mind begins to adapt to the man, instead of the man adapting to the mind. The thoughts that once tried to protect him from discomfort begin to fall silent. The excuses grow weaker. The hesitation fades. The fear loses its authority. Because the mind has learned that you are no longer a man who breaks easily. You are no longer a man who negotiates with weakness. You are no longer a man who bends for comfort. You have become someone far more dangerous. A man who acts regardless of how he feels. And in a world ruled by emotion, a man ruled by discipline becomes unstoppable. His identity deepens. His resolve hardens. His will becomes something other men cannot understand, cannot imitate, and cannot compete with. But there is another truth most men never confront. The stronger you become, the more your old life will try to pull you back. Your old habits will call for you. Your old behaviors will try to resurrect themselves. The weaker version of you will not die quietly. It will claw. It will negotiate. It will promise you comfort. It will disguise itself as logic. It will tell you that you've done enough. And this is where the real transformation begins. Because a man becomes truly powerful when he realizes he has outgrown his old identity. But he continues sharpening anyway. He doesn't slow down. He doesn't get comfortable. He doesn't switch to autopilot. He understands that discipline is not just for the weak version of himself. It is for the strong version as well. Because strength without maintenance decays. Confidence without discipline collapses. Momentum without consistency dies. So he keeps pushing, not because he is broken, but because he is building. He trains like a man preparing for a life he has not yet reached. He works like someone who refuses to be average. He sharpens himself because he knows dullness is always waiting. And he understands the truth most people never learn. Your mind will always test you harder after a victory. It will lure you into rest, into relaxation, into ease, into believing you've arrived. But he knows he hasn't. Arrival is an illusion. Arrival is a trap. Arrival is the death of growth. So he keeps going deliberately, quietly, relentlessly. This is the man who does it anyway. This is the man who rises. This is the man who becomes steel. Your discipline brought you to the end. Mark it. Comment. Steel below. It is the ritual that separates watchers from warriors. Subscribe for more. Like the video to push this message forward. And return tomorrow to sharpen yourself again.